Hello and welcome to the Cinematic Summary channel. In this video, we'll give you an easy and quick rundown of another critically acclaimed film. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give the video a like if you enjoyed it.
Chloe is a 7-year-old girl who lives with Henry, her overprotective father, in a house covered with curtains that prevent her from seeing clearly what's outside. Henry frightens Chloe, telling her that dangerous bandits live outside the house, and they cannot see her. He instructs her to use the name Eleanor Reed as if she were the neighbor's daughter, in case he does not return home. Chloe has visions that torment her and believes they are ghosts, but her father says it's just her imagination. Henry lies down with Chloe when this happens but stays awake to protect her because, according to him, time outside passes faster when he falls asleep. One day, Chloe sees Harper Reed, the neighbor's daughter, buying ice cream on the street and wishes she could bring her ice cream too. Harper knocks on the door to bring Chloe ice cream, but Henry intervenes and questions the girl about how they know each other. Nancy Reed, Harper's mother, also appears at the door to greet Chloe, but her father quickly retreats inside with his daughter. It amazed Chloe to see Nancy in person, the mother she could have in case of need. Henry is angry, thinking that Chloe went out of the house because the neighbors know her true name, so he punishes her by putting her in the closet, saying that when she opened the door, she almost killed them both. Chloe sees Harper inside the closet while playing and asks her to play along, but Harper gets irritated at being awakened at night. The next morning, Henry apologizes for yelling at his daughter. She says that she wants to go to the ice cream truck. Henry says that the ice cream truck has frozen children's bodies, but promises to bring her a pot of ice cream when he goes out to get supplies. Later, Henry appears wounded and rushes home, thinking that someone may have followed him. Chloe realizes her father didn't bring the ice cream and gets upset. Henry says that it is dangerous to go outside, and they will need to stay hidden. Then he collapses. Chloe takes advantage of the situation, takes her father's money from a safe, and sneaks out of the house. Outside, she sees Mr. Snowcone's truck in front of the house. Mr. Snowcone calls Chloe by name and says that she can have any ice cream she wants inside the truck. When he convinces her she is safe, she asks him if he is going to the park. The elderly tells her not to worry anymore about what her dad said, and that the park is exactly where he wants to go. On the way, they see a billboard urging people to call 911 when they see someone with blood running out of their eyes. The two of them play on the swing, with the elderly man pushing the girl higher. He motivates her to be courageous and inquires whether she can do something extraordinary. Chloe gets scared and screams until he stops. The elderly tells her she can't live like a coward like her father and needs to be strong like her mother, a special person known and feared by all. He tells her that her mother is on a dark mountain of evil and that they once tried to destroy it. A police officer asks if the girl is okay, but when he requests to check the elderly man's eyes, he tells Chloe that the officer is one of the evil men who want to harm them both. Chloe yells at the policeman repeatedly to leave them alone, and the policeman stops what he was doing, puts his gun away, and leaves. The elderly tell Chloe that she is very special and that they will do incredible things together. Chloe sees a picture of a woman on the truck, and the elderly tells her it is Mary, his daughter, and also her mother. The girl says that her mother is dead, but the elderly says he still hopes to see her again. Mr. Snowcone drops Chloe off at home and gives her a blue powder, instructing her to put it in Henry's food. He tells her they can only see each other again if Henry falls asleep. When it's time for bed, Chloe holds onto Mary's picture and gazes at it. Suddenly, she hears the ghost in the closet again and goes to investigate. In the closet, the ghost reveals herself to be Mary, Chloe's mother. Upon seeing her supposed daughter, she questions what drug they are giving her. Mary doesn't believe she can see her daughter and starts screaming in a fit of rage, cursing someone, but this scares the girl, who leaves the closet afraid. Chloe goes to the living room, and her father is sleeping at the sound of an interview amidst news of a disaster that claimed numerous lives over 10 years ago. The girl hears that an agent went to the town to pick up abnormal children. The interviewer states that free aberrations pose a threat as weapons of mass destruction when their genes develop, and so they are eliminated before reaching adulthood. The agent maintains that abnormal people can be useful weapons for everyone when educated in childhood. Afterward, Chloe imagines being Harper's sister, hoping they can play together. Suddenly, Harper and her friends appear, running through the room and having fun together. Harper asks Chloe what she's doing in her room, and her friends call her a freak and insult her, saying she's an aberration. Chloe runs to enter the closet and sees Mary crying. Mary tells Chloe isn't real, but as she feels her daughter's touch, she realizes she is present, though they are strangely in different locations. Mary admires how her daughter has grown and realizes how much she was missed in her life. A man's shout startles Chloe, saying he came to get Mary, and suddenly her mother disappears from the closet. Chloe then serves a drink with blue powder to Henry, but he notices and starts asking who gave it to her. The girl starts screaming at him to sleep until Henry falls unconscious on the floor. Blood begins to flow from Chloe's eyes, and she goes to the safe to get money before encountering Mr. Snowcone again. The elderly wipes the girl's tears and says he has a plan to find her real mother. Mr. Snowcone dresses up as a priest and puts normal clothes on Chloe, telling her not to speak. Then he goes to a local cafe and meets Agent Ray. He says he is a priest taking care of an abnormal child and wants to hand her over to federal care in exchange for a pilgrimage to Modoc Mountain, a refuge where they control the abnormals. Chloe deviates from the plan, insisting that she's a normal girl, and then heads to the kitchen. There, an employee startles upon hearing the topic of aberrations. Mr. Snowcone sticks a pen in the employee's eye and disappears from the cafe with the girl. He tells Chloe that the plan was for them to safely enter Modoc Mountain to rescue Mary, and now the plan is to train her to use her powers correctly. Chloe asks Mr. Snowcone to take her home where Henry is, who appears angry at the door. Henry disappears with the elderly and carries Chloe in his arms, but she screams at him to let her go, and he drops her to the ground. A car almost hit Chloe before Henry regains consciousness and creates a bubble in which he can control time and save his daughter. The girl discovers her father is also special and created a temporal bubble around the house to hide her for 7 years, while only 4 months have passed since her mother's death. Henry says he wishes he could live awake and stop time forever, just to protect his daughter, but that's not possible. Chloe says she's prepared to live under the Reed family's protection, and it convinced her father that this is the best way to protect her. The two go to Reed's house, but Nancy says Henry should have given them prior notice, as everything was happening too fast. Henry assures them that they will receive a generous amount of money each month for taking care of Chloe and protecting her from the feds. Harper insults Chloe, saying that she shows up in her room at night and makes her do strange things, and that she ruined a sleepover with her friends. Nancy says that her family needs to think about this, when suddenly, Chloe is incessantly demanding that she tell her she loves her. Nancy hugs the girl and tells her several times that she loves her, but soon comes to her senses and is shocked at having been mind-controlled. She then kicks them out of the house, threatening to call 911. At home, Henry is surprised by the powers his daughter has awakened and locks her in the closet. He also reveals that he knows Mr. Snowcone, who is his father-in-law, Alan. Alan tells Henry that Chloe is everything they hoped for to save themselves, and they argue. Inside the closet, Chloe is comforted by her mother, but discovers that Mary is about to be executed as she sees her being carried out of a cell. Henry tries to lock his daughter in the closet again, but she insists on saving her mother, claiming that she is still alive. Chloe begins to control her father's movements and makes him give up on keeping her locked up. Henry tries to put Chloe to sleep, while Alan tries to find out about the vision she had of his daughter. Alan reveals that his daughter is alive on Modoc Mountain, but he couldn't tell Henry because he fled with the girl the day they captured Mary. As they discuss how to get Mary back, Chloe sees Nancy snitching on them to a federal agent across the street. Suddenly, Alan and Henry stop arguing when they see the projection of the conversation between Nancy and the officer in front of them. When Chloe learns that Modoc Mountain is a prison where few survive, she begins to control the federal agent's movements and makes him stab Nancy in the eye with a pen. Then, she makes him take the gun and shoot himself. Patrol cars appear on the street, and seeing Nancy with a bleeding eye, they shoot her until she dies. Chloe runs to grab Mary's photo and calls for her mother. Then she sees her strapped to a gurney. Henry appears and sees his wife alive, but is about to be executed. Mary reassures Henry, who thought she was dead and didn't save her, and tells him to take care of Chloe. Alan appears in the room and sees an officer ordering a scientist to give Mary a lethal injection. Everyone despairs at seeing Mary about to die, when suddenly, Chloe manages to control the scientist and makes him inject himself with a lethal dose. Then, the officer is also controlled and starts to release Mary from the gurney. The doorbell rings, and Henry sees Agent Ray at the door. He freezes time inside the house, and, through Chloe's powers, also manages to freeze what is happening on Modoc Mountain in the room where Mary is. Alan says that Mary won't be able to escape frozen in time, and Henry says they need to escape because several federal agents are on the street. Alan makes a plan to disguise Henry and gives him hydrogen peroxide to hide the bloodstain on his eyes. Henry makes time run normally again and answers the door. Agent Ray introduces herself and enters the house. She examines Henry's eyes and asks if there are any weapons in the house. Meanwhile, Mary tells Chloe that they are underground and she does not have enough space to use her powers, so she needs help to get out of there. Henry tries to pass himself off as the owner of the house, who lost his tenants, and is concerned about the property's value after discovering that his neighbors were aberrations. Ray orders him to sit and notices the smell of peroxide on his face. She also knows that his daughter is upstairs and warns that a missile is prepared to attack the house. Meanwhile, Chloe controls the federal agent who pulls a cart where Mary is hiding and carries her through the underground of Modoc Mountain. Ray makes a peace offer to Henry to deliver his daughter safely, and says that they will train her to be a good weapon in the hands of the state. However, she is honest and tells him that he will have to be killed in return. She realizes Alan has taken her gun, but Henry tries to say that they need more time and calm in that negotiation. Chloe hears through the underground corridors that the scientist from the execution chamber is not answering the radio, and that needs to be checked. Afraid of being discovered, she controls the federal agent to attack the guards, and the alarm goes off. They also heard the sound inside the house, and Ray takes advantage of the distraction to disarm Alan and shoot Henry, but Alan manages to escape. Ray asks for a time before they launch the missile and goes upstairs to get Chloe. She sees everything the girl is doing and thinks she is a very dangerous aberration. She aims a gun at Chloe to kill her, but Alan gets in the way and takes the bullet instead of his granddaughter. Chloe controls Ray and makes her shoot herself. Henry hears Ray's radio call and tries to gain time by saying that he has her as a hostage. Chloe controls the federal agent on Modoc Mountain, but when she sees him hitting her mother, she makes him commit suicide. Numerous vehicles and military personnel are at the door of the house, and Henry freezes time in the entire area to get rid of some of them outside. An officer orders a Hellfire missile to be released on the house, and the military begins to evacuate the area. Meanwhile, Mary manages to get rid of some guards with Chloe's help, but the girl falls to the ground, weakened. Mary cannot advance through the underground gate and asks for help from her daughter when she sees herself surrounded by armed men. Chloe wakes up at her mother's request with a scream, and the Modoc Mountain guard unlocks all the doors for Mary to escape. Mary communicates with her daughter and says she feels where she is and goes after her. Meanwhile, the missile approaches the house, and Henry creates a temporal barrier around the house again. Henry uses the last of his strength to grab Chloe and run to the door to throw himself out of the house with her. The two are buried under rubble, and Henry says goodbye to Chloe, telling her he loves her, that he is proud of her, and that she is special. The federal agents are still surrounding the house, but Mary shows up to save her daughter. Mary tells Chloe that from now on, it's her turn to protect her daughter and keep her hidden. Chloe says she doesn't want to hide anymore, and that they will stop anyone who interferes. The movie ends with the mother picking up her daughter and flying away with her in her arms.
So, did you like the video? We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the movie, so please leave a comment below. Also watch other of our summaries of the best movies in cinema. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.